Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to week 2 of my challenge of trying to read 200 pages a day to get out of my reading slump. So I can confidently say that the second week of this challenge for the month of July has gone well. I did read at least 200 pages a day. I also finished more books this week. But that's basically because I binged books. I binged a couple audiobooks throughout this week, just kind of going back to books that I loved years ago and rereading some of them. They didn't all age well, but I did do quite a bit. I'm waiting for my thing to pop up, but I believe I finished, so far I'm at 8 books read this month, which is pretty impressive for me. I don't usually do that much, but I'm pretty happy with it. I'm in the middle of the 3rd Dungeon Crawler Carl series book, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't have nearly as much actual footage this week as I did last week. I did a terrible job vlogging this week, unfortunately. But yeah, let's just hop right into what I do have, so. Welcome back to another vlog. It's Wednesday and I haven't updated you once yet, so let me update you on the 3 books so far. The first one, between Monday and Tuesday, I reread Dracula, which is a book that I read just about every year. I'm listening to the audiobook. This is just the physical edition I have. And it took about 2 days, and it's about 200 pages I read each day. Right around there. There's a little bit more. And it's got really cool, like, art in it. This is technically a special edition. There are, like, little drawings in here. Some of them, but not many of them. Anyways, yeah, so we got, like, little drawings in some parts of this. I really enjoyed this. I enjoy Dracula. I think it is well done. I think it's interesting story. I think it's a good historical look into the origin of monster books. The first time I read Dracula was back in undergrad. I took a class called Monsters, Myths, and Movies, and I will never forget this, even though it's been over 10 years since I've been in undergrad, since I took this class. It's been almost 15 years since I took that class. Wow, I make myself feel old. But it really stuck with me. We would read the original horror we read in the month-long class. It was January term interim class. We read Dracula, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and Frankenstein. The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Frankenstein. and I really enjoyed Dracula. And then we watched the original movies. We read a more modern rendition of the books, and we watched a modern version of the movies. But Dracula has been one of my favorites of those ever since we read it. And I have made it a point of trying to reread it every year. The whole idea of the vampire character being a myth before this book, but the things that Bram Stoker added in order to make the character the persona that we know today as Dracula. Please ignore my incredible sunburn right now. I'm so sorry. I did not put any makeup on, and I was just putting lotion on my forehead because my sunburn is peeling, so it's great right now. I'm so sorry you have to see this. But it is what it is right now. So this would be what I read in the first 2 days of this week, or the first 2 days. And then today, I have off work in case you haven't figured it out. And I walked actually to a cafe, and I needed to go somewhere in town to pay a bill. You had to go pay the dentist bill, and I had to go set up an appointment. But I read to page 225 of The Busybody. Wasn't really feeling reading it long term. I'm just not feeling sitting down and reading right now. I spent some time out in the garden. I listened to a little bit of Bad Tourists, but I don't think I even got a chapter in when I was like, I'm really not feeling this one right now. So I'm going to pick up an old book that's a favorite of mine, and that's Better Homes and Hauntings by Molly Harper. This is just the physical edition of this book. I got this book years ago as an ebook, and I still have it on my Kindle. It is one of my favorite paranormal, I guess it's a paranormal romance, but it's not a romance with the paranormal. It's two humans, but there's like ghosts and stuff happening and possession and that kind of stuff. And it's very interesting. I guess you could call it a billionaire romance to a point, but it's a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy this story. I have read this like 5 or 6 times. I enjoy it so much. One of my top favorite books. So this book follows Nina Linden, who is a landscape architect who has her own company called Demeter Designs, and she is hired by tech mogul Deacon Whitney. I can never say Whitney the first time. And it's basically like her last ditch effort in order to save her business that's going under because of her former partner, who is basically trying to ruin everything for her. And she ends up on this island with this estate that Deacon Whitney has inherited, and he's trying to make it into a home that he can live in, where he can try and stay away from like the populace and everything. Turns out he's a really down-to-earth person who wears like superhero t-shirts and is hilarious. And it's all about the 4 people that are on that island and the paranormal aspects they have to deal with there while they're trying to, on a timeline and a budget, they're trying to revamp this whole island. While there's also some trouble happening that's like causing problems, and it's very interesting. So yeah, I really, really enjoy this one. It's got a cast of really fun characters. I like all 4 of the main characters that we meet. And yeah, it's just a fun story, honestly. So would recommend if you want something lighthearted. That's my update though. This book is like 310-ish pages. 318 pages. Technically, and I'm probably going to read most of it today. I just really enjoy this book. It's a lot of fun. I really like it. So that's what I got. Yep, that's my update for today, or for now. Maybe I'll update you later. But yeah, I might pick up the next Dungeon Crawler Carl book soon as my next ebook, just because I've found I'm not interested in Bad Tourists right now. And I know I just did a video where I read the first couple chapters and I was like, oh, this could be interesting, but I'm just like, I'm also in a little bit of a slump right now, so we'll see what happens with that one. But today is the 9th. That's what we got. I'll talk to you later. As I kind of predicted, or kind of assumed it would be, this has turned into the month of audiobooks, which is fine, again. But we're going to start with the audiobooks. So I finished Better Homes and Hauntings by Molly Harper on Wednesday the 9th, where I read a total of 344 pages, including this entire book. This is mass market paperback, so yes. But this was a book that I got years ago. I picked it up on Kindle, actually. I think from BookBuzz. BookBub, not BookBuzz. BookBub. And I honestly loved it. I really enjoy it. I think it's aged pretty well for the most part. I really do like it. And this is, honestly, for me, it's nostalgic, it's a feel-good story, and I really enjoy it. So, yes. I think I talked about the summary of this one already. The next two books that I read, I had got the audiobooks from Libby, and they were, I listened to them at 1.75 or 2.0 speed, and I finished them in one day each. And it is a duology, and it is the Night and Moon duology by Janet Ivanovich and Phoebe Sloan. I don't remember her name, I'm sorry. The first one is Curious Minds. The second one is Dangerous Minds. So on Thursday, I listened to all of Curious Minds, which was 322 pages approximately. This follows Riley Moon, who works at a big bank meant for incredibly rich people in Washington, D.C., and she is, she got this job like a week ago, and she is sent to check in with one of the bank's most like high-end eccentric clients, Emerson Knight, and she's supposed to check in, make sure everything's going all right. He's happy with everything, and he's like, I want to see my gold, and she's like, that's not how this works. And so begins their adventure for this book of her attempting to figure out what happened to his gold. And he's this super eccentric billionaire, trillionaire, whatever. I don't know. He has a lot of money, and they have like a zoo, and it's kind of ridiculous. I will say I don't think this duology aged nearly as well as Better Homes and Hauntings. It's still like a comfort listen to me, but it's because of the audiobook. I don't think it would be quite the same if it was written, like if I read it physically for me. They've got some tropes in there that I'm not a big fan of. They've got some things going on, but overall this duology is just like an easy listen, and I don't have to think too hard about it. It was only 2 books, which is fine. I was half expecting it to continue because Janet Ivanovich, her series just keep going. I am tempted to listen to the Fox and O'Hare series, which is one I actually never finished. I got to what was originally the end of it, and then she came out with, I think, 2 more books, and I was like, oh, I thought we were done. Oops. So I haven't listened to The Big Kahuna and I think The Bounty in that series, so I might restart it, and maybe I'll do one of those a day if they're again on Libby for free. But yeah, so today I listened to all of Dangerous Minds, which is the sequel, and it picks up just a couple months, I believe, after, or a little bit after the first one ends. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's another adventure for everybody in the cast, and a lot of things going on. It ended up being about 310 pages for this one, and then today I started, meaning I got about 5 pages, or I got 1 chapter, I shouldn't say 5 pages, I got about 1 chapter-ish into Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook by Matt Dinneman, which is the 3rd book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, so I might just be binging this series. I think I might just listen to them. This one's over 500 pages, so I expect it to take me the whole weekend, if not longer. We have things that we're doing this weekend, including, I have my great aunt's birthday party is on Saturday. She's turning like 98, which is kind of awesome. Good for her. And she's still going. But, yeah. Otherwise, working on stuff for the wedding. I gotta clean up. I'm trying not to have mental breakdowns. You know, the normal stuff. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Alright. I'll talk to you guys later. I don't have a lot going on right now, because I'm tired. I'm very, very tired. But yes. That's it. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Always, we're going back to the office. The floors Kitty. Sleepy kitty. We got banana bread. We got the games.
Mash the button. Mash it.
So like I said at the beginning, I was not very good at filming this week. I didn't do a lot of it. The last two clips you just saw were from a game night that we did. We have some friends who live in a different state than us, and we try to do like a virtual game night every so often. And one of the few games that we can all agree upon right now is Undercooked. So we've been playing Undercooked 2. I did just download, what did I just download? Peak. So we're gonna, I think, we might try and play it at some point, and it's all about knocking your friends off a mountain, and I'm okay with this. But John does not have a PC to play it on, and it's not cross-platform. So, if you have any other, like, suggestions, we've tried Repo, we've tried Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia actually makes a couple people really sick, so that's why we haven't been playing that one. And Repo apparently is the same way. So, yeah. And John's really not into horror games, it seems. So we're not playing horror games. But, yeah, so that was our game night. We played that for probably like 3 or 4 hours. We played games and chatted, caught up. Like I said, they live in another state, so we actually don't see them very often, but it was good to talk and hang out with them. So, like I said, as you can see, I didn't do a lot of filming this week, but I did do a lot of reading. Let me get my numbers up here. On both Saturday and Sunday, I spent time listening to the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook, the 3rd book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I still have a little bit left in the audiobook, and I'm going to finish that today. I have approximately 2.5 hours left in the audiobook. So, yes. I am like 70 or 80% of the way through it. I'm 80% of the way through the book. I am enjoying it. It's a ride. It's interesting. This one got really dramatic, which, not to say none of them have been dramatic, but honestly, this makes me miss playing D&D at times. I used to play, and I really did enjoy it. I fell off when I was in school, and just really haven't picked it up again. We haven't really had time with prepping for the wedding and stuff. So, yay, from one thing right into another. But the Dungeon Anarchists Cookbook, and, well, actually, the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. So the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, for me, reminds me a lot of D&D and of playing games, especially the kinds of campaigns where you're just thrown into something, which we have had a couple of those, or I have played a couple, like, smaller campaigns that were like a day or just like an 8-hour period where we were thrown into like a game show or something like that. And this one reminds me of that a lot more, down to the fact that you can pick your class and such. I'm curious to see where they're going with some of this stuff. I really like the added plot for this 3rd book. I saw it coming, but I'm really happy we finally have it in here. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Now I'm debating whether or not I'm going to buy the books. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But I think I might, just to have them, especially these covers. I really like these covers. So, yes, that's kind of my update. But on Saturday, so I listened to the audiobook both days. On Saturday, I read about 210 pages, and then on Sunday, so yesterday, it was about 215 pages. And yesterday, I spent the day cutting these out. These are templates for the paper flowers I'm making for our wedding. So I am going to have a different channel where I'm going to do a lot of my crafty kind of stuff. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And I will start posting that sooner rather than later. Yay! But that's really my update. This is a short video. I know it's supposed to be a week-long vlog, and it's like 20 minutes. But I'm okay with that. I did get a new hair clip. Look how cute it is. It's got ghosties on it. So, yes. And that's what I got. That's really my update. I guess I can update you on my cross stitch. I've made it through a little bit more. I got all this light purple stuff now done. So all this is crossed and this stuff is mostly crossed. So I'm trying to finish that, and then I just have one more color and I'm done. So yes, the bookmark's taking me a little bit longer than I planned, but I haven't had nearly as much free time as I have wanted to have. So that's the way it goes, though. But that's what I got for you guys here today, as I've said like 3 times now. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe. I would really appreciate it if you would do that. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, keep reading, and keep moving forward.